Okay, so as you can probably tell by the thumbnail, I did originally have this video scheduled to be talking about Mustafa Ali and what he could do potentially post WWE, but a lot's happened. A fair bit happened since I made that thumbnail. Let's talk about it. Hello and welcome to FTTR. I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about the sad news of releases from WWE following the merger between UFC and WWE and Endeavour and that whole thing that's happened. So we have main roster talent cuts. Now, before I dive into the names, I just want to put forward that I fully support everyone who has been released and everything that they do going forward, because they are terrific wrestlers, and I fully hope that they are okay following losing their jobs, and I hope they find support in either wrestling or any other profession that they see fit. Good luck to everyone, and I sincerely hope you do incredibly well. So the full list of names of people who have been released. We have Dolph Ziggler, Elias, Mustafa Ali, Shelton Benjamin, Top Dollar, Riddick Moss, Emma, Elias, and Rick Boogs. That is the full list, and it is a list of notable names in WWE. Some potential all-time greats have been let go from the company, and I'm going to dive into each one individually. I'll have more to say on others and potentially where they might end up. But before we dive into that, please hit this video, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below on these releases. What would you like to see next from them, and what did you think of their runs in WWE as a whole? Let me know everything you want down in the comments below, and I'll try and reply to every single one of them. We're going to start with probably the biggest name on this list of releases, and that is Dolph Ziggler, one of the true workhorses of WWE. He was World Heavyweight Champion. He was an NXT Champion, which I really forget that he was NXT Champion. Intercontinental Champion, Money in the Bank winner. We know Dolph Ziggler. We all know Dolph Ziggler. And I think Dolph is going to be money coming out of this. I think he's going to be a Matt Cardona in that regard. I think he's going to do incredible stuff on the indies, potentially winding up in an AEW or an Impact or a New Japan maybe. New Japan's probably unlikely for Dolph, but I could easily see him slotting into one of those. But for Dolph in particular, I don't know why, but similar to the mould of a Matt Cardona, I see GCW potential written all over him. Like having a terrific run in like one or two death matches and really cementing his name as, okay, I am different from what I was in WWE. This was everything that I was being held back from in that company, and I have so much more to offer in an incredible hardcore wrestling setting. I can just picture his moveset even fitting well in a match with the likes of Matt Cardona in GCW. I'd love to see that, but also I think maybe doing something with his brother in AEW, working a tag team, playing the comedy veteran shtick. I think there could really is potential for Dolph, and I would love to see him do a tour of the indies and then wind up in AEW. Sorry, my dog is having a mad one at the moment. She's finished now, I think. But yes, Dolph Ziggler, he's incredible. I can't wait to see what he does next. Stand-up comedy. He might just go full-time into stand-up comedy and do that. But all the best to Dolph. Love you lots. Elias is the next huge name on this list. Now, Elias back in the day, 2017, 2018, was one of the biggest heat magnets and one of the most over acts in WWE. Just the second you heard that guitar strum, you just knew that you were in for something, whether it be the hometown heat, the booing, saying who wants to walk with Elias. He was an incredibly overact, and I always go back to that period or that segment he had with Kevin Owens where he was just getting booed and booed for like 7 minutes or something like that. It was a really sustained amount of time. While he might not have been the most incredible or the most engaging wrestler, his persona was everything we wanted. And I think Elias is, whether he goes into music, he's going to be incredibly successful, but I could see Elias easily landing in Impact Wrestling. His shtick, his gimmick would work perfectly in an Impact Wrestling setting. Mixing up with Joe Hendry, that's what we want to see. Joe Hendry versus Elias would be money. Can't wait to see what Elias does next. And yeah, real shame that he's gone from WWE. Probably the one that hurts most for me, but also has the biggest upside, is Mustafa Ali, who is on the thumbnail, of course. Mustafa Ali was one of my favourites because I was an avid 205 Live watcher, because it was a type of wrestling that I loved, and his series with Buddy is just incredible. Just the stuff of legend. The unsung rivalry that they had, and that no disqualification match that they had, was flawless, absolutely flawless. And then he got shafted with stuff on the main roster, retribution, just being booked as a bad guy when he's an incredibly likable babyface. The potential that was shown in his vignettes that he was doing, he could have been a true main eventer. And the weird thing about this release is he's scheduled to wrestle Dominic Mysterio at NXT No Mercy. So who knows what happens with that, but he has such potential on the indies and in other companies. The place where I'd like to see Mustafa Ali go, and it's something that I've seen floated around a lot, Mustafa Ali, Best of the Super Junior winner 2024, get him in New Japan in the Super Junior division. He would be a terrific addition to that scene, that roster, and then even move him up to heavyweight and have him square off with the likes of Ospreay and Tanahashi and Okada. He could fit into any faction in New Japan. I just think Ali has such a New Japan vibe to him. As much as I'd love to see him do a tour of the indies, I think he will be straight scoop up by New Japan. I think he's dead set on being in New Japan and probably wrestling in the Tokyo Dome in front of a massive crowd. I think he'll captivate that audience. I want that to happen. I want Ali in New Japan Pro Wrestling more than anything. I think that's going to be a great fit for him, and he was a wasted potential in his run in WWE. Then we've got a shot to my heart, and that's Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin, my God, just my childhood encapsulated, basically. Like his performance in Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 25 is one of my favourite performances ever, and his performance at WrestleMania 24 in Money in the Bank, just Money in the Bank in general, is synonymous with Shelton Benjamin, and I always loved Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin was one of my brother's favourite wrestlers as well, and yeah, I just love Shelton Benjamin, and it sucks to see him go. It sucks that the Hurt Business that is just gone, but I would like to see Shelton do a tour of the indies. Like I've said a lot, I'd like to see him tour here in the UK, maybe do some stuff with Defy and Wrestling Revolver and GCW, maybe just do a big tour, because obviously he is a veteran, put over some young guys, maybe do some talks. I'd love to see, like, Inside the Ropes, get a sit down with Shelton Benjamin and just hear about his career. I think there's a lot of stuff that Shelton can do. He's a legend of the business, and it sucks that he was released from WWE. Next, we have Top Dollar. Now, I'm going to be honest, I was never the biggest Hit Row fan, so I'm not too familiar with Top Dollar's work in WWE. I don't know whether he'll reunite with Swerve, maybe, and do something there, and it sucks that Top Dollar was brought back as part of Hit Row after they were already released and then was released again. It really sucks that he's sort of been messed about like that, but I don't really know. I think Top Dollar may be an Impact sort of thing for him, or I don't know what else, if he does anything else really, but yeah, I don't know what next for Top Dollar personally, but yeah, sucks that they brought him back and shafted him again, basically. Sucks. Next up, I'm going to pair these two together because they are, in fact, a married couple. Or are they married or engaged? I'm not too sure. I think they're married. But that is Riddick Moss and Emma. Riddick Moss was on such a push. He was on a massive push at one point in the year. They seemed like they were really behind Riddick Moss. And they sort of just gave up with him. Ever since he split from Corbin and they tried to get him going, I think he feuded with Karrion Kross, which probably didn't help. But then, yeah, just down, and now released. I think Riddick Moss was a terrific worker who was shafted with a terrible gimmick with the Happy Corbin stuff. He was never recovering from that, and it's a real shame what happened there. And Emma just never really got out of second gear when they brought her back. Tenille Dashwood was incredible in Impact Wrestling, and I'd love to see them both go back to Impact. I'm not sure if Riddick was in Impact, but I'd love to see them both go to Impact. I think they could do a great gimmick together and really find their footing in Impact and do something creative and give Riddick a bit of a character that was never gifted in WWE. And yeah, it sucks that they both went on the same day. It especially sucks for Emma, because if you've seen the tweet and you know the tweet about Australia, you know that sucks. Next, we have Elias. Now, Elias was with WWE since, I believe, 2015 in that NXT system, and she'd only just sort of got her big break on the main roster. She was the women's tag team champions with Raquel Rodriguez, but now she's gone. I think Elias has arguably the most potential out of any of these people who have been let go by WWE, because I think she could really put in the hours, the work, do a new character, a new babyface, like push for her, touring the indie circuit and really getting those reps in, and then coming to a company like Impact and like AEW, and just building a character and building a collection of work that can really show off what she can do, because I think she was tethered in that WWE system. I think there's so much more to Elias than we actually saw, and I think she's likable. She's incredibly likable, and just a nice babyface coming out of NXT that wasn't really capitalized on. I think she's going to be fantastic. I'd love to see her go to Impact and do some work over there, or maybe even, venture over to Japan and do some Joshi stuff in Stardom. Really getting those reps in and showing WWE what they dropped the ball with, essentially. But yeah, I think she's going to do fantastic outside of WWE, and yeah, hopefully we see her back in the ring soon. And the final person we've got to talk about is Rick Boogs. Now, Rick Boogs was incredibly over at one point. Then he got injured. He injured his knee during WrestleMania against the Usos when he was teaming with Shinsuke. And since then, nothing. I think there's huge potential for Rick Boogs on the independent scene. My dream match, I would love to see Rick Boogs come to Progress. He is a big man, and I would love to see him vie for the Atlas Championship. I would love to see Gene Money versus Rick Boogs. That is the dream match that I want to see. If you know, you know, but I think they could do comedy gold together. He's a really funny guy, a really funny, charismatic star who just, unfortunately, was never pushed above that. And I think that's a shame. So we'll see what Rick Boogs does from here. I think tour of the Indies for him. I think he's could be a breakout star, breakout sensation, breakout comedy character on the independent scene. And yes, I wish him all the best. Like I wish everyone on this list, I guess, the best. I hope everyone finds their footing, finds their stability, and everyone's okay following this, because it's awful. It really is awful. And yeah, that is everyone. Apparently, Brian Alvarez has tweeted that there might be some NXT cuts coming. I'll see if I do a video on that, potentially later, potentially tomorrow. But yeah, this is a sad day, essentially. And a lot of people, lost their jobs. Not just these wrestlers, but a lot of people in the merger have lost their jobs. So yeah, condolences to everyone involved. But we'll see. We'll see. That's all we can say is we'll see. But let me know your guys' thoughts. Show these guys some support. Buy their merch. See if they're on Big Cartel. See if they're on Pro Wrestling Tees. Buy some merch. Support these guys. And yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.